most of you all didn't do well on the grammar quiz, so I selected not to have it as a grade. In the grade book, you're going to see a check mark. If you turned it in, you have a check mark. If you did not turn it in, you have a check mark. And that's not calculated in your grade. What it is saying is just simply acknowledging the assignment in the grade book. Okay, so we're going to quickly go over this, and hopefully this will help you understand the grammar concepts better. So number one, a dependent clause expresses a complete thought. Okay, a dependent clause is a sentence fragment. You know, a sentence fragment is missing a subject, verb, and or a complete thought. A dependent clause cannot stand on its own because it is a sentence fragment. Right here at tax time, everybody is looking for those extra dependents, and the dependents give you more money because you're telling the IRS, hey, I took care of this person, this dependent, throughout the year. The dependent cannot stand on their own. The dependent did not live on their own, and so I took care of it. Same concept, a dependent clause does not express a complete thought. It is not a complete sentence. It is a sentence fragment. However, an independent clause, and you guys know the song, Independent. Do you know what I mean? The song's theme is, as an independent person, as an independent woman, I can stand on my own. I don't need help from anyone. I can take care of myself. I am complete without anyone's help. And so an independent clause is a complete sentence. Therefore, it is a complete thought. It doesn't need any help. It is complete. So, a dependent clause expresses a complete thought. That's false. True or false? A run-on sentence is a sentence that goes on for 28 words. The number of words in a sentence does not constitute whether or not it's a run-on sentence. A run-on sentence is a sentence that does not have, or a run-on sentence is when two complete sentences are joined without a comma and a connecting word to separate them. Okay, a run-on sentence is a sentence a run-on sentence are when two complete sentences are joined without a comma and a connecting word to separate them. So, does it go on for 28 words? False. It doesn't matter how many words. A run-on sentence can have 10 words, 8 words, 9 words. What constitutes a run-on sentence is when you have two complete sentences that are joined without a comma and a connecting word to separate them. A comma splice can be connected with a semicolon or a period. You guys learned that a comma splice and a run-on sentence are corrected by 3 ways. There are 3 ways to correct a comma splice and run-on sentence. The first way is to separate the two sentences with a semicolon. The other way is to separate the two sentences and make them two complete sentences by separating them with a period. The third way is to separate the two sentences with a comma and a fanboys or a coordinated conjunction. You know, my fanboys, my coordinated conjunctions are the words for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. So those are my 3 ways to separate comma splices and run-ons. You know, a comma splice, We learned that in the grammar section, is when you connect two complete sentences with only a comma. That's an error. A comma is too weak to connect two complete sentences, so that's called a comma splice. A run-on sentence is when you connect two complete sentences without a comma and or a connecting word. And so the ways to correct this is by separating the two sentences with a semicolon, making them two complete sentences by separating them with a period, or separating them with a comma and fanboys. So 3 is true. Let's talk about subjects and predicates right quick. If the subject of a sentence is singular, the verb must also be singular. Okay, you know that a subject of a sentence is who or what the sentence is about. It can be a noun or a pronoun, and it is normally at the beginning of a sentence. The verb of the sentence is what that subject is doing. It's also called a predicate. Subjects and verbs must agree. So if the subject is singular, the verb must be singular. If the subject is plural, the verb must be plural. Now, this is where a lot of my students get mixed up. Singular verbs end in S. Okay, and so you need to retrain your mind, because most of the time when we think of something being singular, we're thinking about nouns. A noun, person, place, or thing, like dog, boy, house, girl, car. These are all singular nouns. One dog, one boy, one house, one girl, one car. When you add an S, you make nouns plural. Dogs is more than one. Boys, more than one boys. Girls, more than one girls. Cars, more than one car, right? So, a singular noun does not have an S. A plural noun does. The opposite is true with verbs. A singular verb has an S, and the plural verb does not. So what you just need to remember that in a sentence, if your noun has the S, the verb will not. They are opposite. If the noun doesn't have an S, that means the noun is singular, then the verb is singular too, and it has an S. So if the noun has an S, the verb does not. If the noun does not have an S, the verb does. So let's look at singular. Well, let's say the dog catch or catches the ball. Now, dog is singular, right? And so dog does not have a S, and so your verb must be singular, and singular verbs end with the S. The dog catches the ball. Okay. The boy is or are. Are is the plural form of is. The boy is or the boy are going to the grandmother's house. Boy is singular. So remember, if the subject is singular, the verb must be singular. And so the verb is singular. Remember that singular verbs end in S. And so if the noun doesn't have an S, the verb will. The girl has to write a paper for her class. The car speeds daily. The girl has or have to write the paper for the class. Okay, so girl means how many girls? Singular or plural? If you said singular, that's right. So if the girl is singular, which is the subject, the verb must also be singular. Remember, singular subject, singular verbs end in S. And so we would say has or have. Has is correct. The car is my subject. Is that singular or plural? If you said singular, you're right. And so if the subject is singular, the verb must also be singular. And singular verbs end in S. Speeds. Now, what you need to know, that if the noun, dog, boy, girl, car, doesn't have an S, the verb will. Catches, is, has, speeds, right? So let's look at this from another point of view. Let's make my nouns plural. So if the nouns have an S, remember that the subjects, if the subject, which is the nouns, if the subjects have an S, remember that the verbs will not, right? If the subjects have an S, the verbs will not. So I've changed it. Right here you have one dog. Here you have more than one dog. So the subject is plural. Boy, here you have boys. The subject is plural. Girl is singular here, but here the subject is plural. Car is singular here, but here the subject is plural. So remember, if the subject is plural, the verb must be plural, right? So if the subject has an S, the verb does not. So the dogs catch. The boys are. The girls have. That's correct. And the cars speed. Okay. Once again, if the subject is singular, the verbs must be singular. If the subject is plural, the verb must be plural. A singular verb ends in S. And so just one thing you remember, that if the subject has an S, the verb will not. If the subject does not have an S, the verb will. Okay, so let's we're going to cross out the prepositional phrases, underline the subjects, and circle the verb. Or since you can't circle, let's just say highlight. So remember when we talked about prepositional phrases at the beginning of your grammar notes, we said that prepositions show location. Prepositions are words like out, in, to, of, around, under, underneath, behind, during, for. Your prepositional phrase starts with a preposition. Out is my preposition, and ends with a noun. Americans is my noun, and so my prepositional phrase is out of every 5 Americans. Okay? My prepositional phrase is out of every 5 Americans. So I'm going to cross that out with red. I'm going to cross it out. So that's my prepositional phrase, out of every 5 Americans. In is a preposition. Lifetimes is my noun. A prepositional phrase starts with the preposition, which is in, and ends with the noun lifetimes. So you know that your subject and your verb of the sentence will never be in a prepositional phrase. That's why we cross them out. Your subject and your verb would never be in the prepositional phrase. So one is my subject, and will develop is my verb. Okay? One will develop. Let's cross out our prepositions, which is to the city. To is your preposition. City is my noun. To the city is the prepositional phrase. So most of the time, not all, because nothing is all, your subject will be at the beginning of your sentence because it's who the sentence is about. So who are we talking about? We're talking about Brian. What did Brian do? He sold his horse. Okay? Underline the subject. Siberian tigers is my subject. Let's cross out these prepositional phrases. To is a preposition. To great distances is my prepositional phrase. Let's cross that out. To is a preposition. To find food is the prepositional phrase. Let's cross that out. So Siberian tigers is my subject. And have or sometimes have is my predicate. And so let's not make that an underline. Let's just make that bold so you won't get confused. Okay? I've crossed out my prepositional phrases because those are not part of the subject and the predicate. Okay? Out is a preposition. In is a preposition, and these are some of your most common prepositions. To is a preposition. Of is a preposition. For is a preposition. With is a preposition. From is a preposition. On is a preposition. And any other words, if you would just imagine a airplane in a cloud, and how can that airplane be in relationship to that cloud? It can be on it, above it, through it, underneath it, beside it, with it, along it. Okay? So we're going to cross out our prepositional phrases. Of is a preposition. Physical activity is my prepositional phrase. To have an asthma attack. To is a preposition. Asthma attack is the noun. That's my prepositional phrase. So any sort is my subject. Can cause is my verb. Okay. Then we talked about when a sentence is a command. When somebody's commanding you to do something. Close the door. Iron my clothes. Wash the dishes. Go to school. Bring back some milk. Don't forget to write. Don't get milk from the store. Anytime that a sentence is a command, the subject is called understood or implied you. You guys need to know that. Anytime a sentence is a command, the subject is called understood or implied you. Because it's understood or implied that you're talking to who? Me. Close the door. If somebody says close the door, they don't have to say Sally close the door. It's understood that they're talking to you. Okay? So now let's put this in practice with the subject-verb agreement. We're going to find the subject. Remember, if the subject is singular, the verb is singular. If the subject is plural, the verb is plural. Single verbs N and S. So Miss MacGyver is the subject. And how many is Miss MacGyver? One, right? And so the verb would be is. Of applicants is the prepositional phrase. Let's cross that out. So the number is the subject. The number, we're talking about one, which is singular. And so is my verb. We talked about singular and definite pronouns. With singular and definite pronouns, if the pronoun ends with the word one, if it ends with the word thing, or if it ends with the word body, it is a singular pronoun. Okay? Everything, anything, something. Everybody, anybody, somebody. Everyone, anyone, someone. In addition to those, you have pronouns like each, either, neither, and another. These are all singular as well. Of is a preposition. Of the apples is the prepositional phrase. Let's cross that out. So each would be my subject, and each is singular. And so a singular subject has a singular verb, and the singular verb is what? Is. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. How many people is that? It's two, right? And so because we have two people, that is plural. And so if the subject is plural, the verb must be plural. So provide without the S is my plural verb. Remember, a singular verb has an S. Of the students is a prepositional phrase. On Tuesday and Thursday afternoons is another prepositional phrase. But for the most part, people, your subject of the sentence will be at the beginning. So a few. Okay? If your boo has a few outside children, that's not one, that's more than one, right? And so a few is plural. Plural subjects have plural verbs. A few play. And a plural verb does not end in S. Both of the boys, so of is my preposition. Of the boys is my prepositional phrase. We're going to cross that out. To do, prepositional phrase, cross that out. But like I said, most of the time, your subject of the sentence will be at the beginning. So both is plural. And so a plural subject has a plural verb with it, which is have. If it ends in one, body, or thing, it is singular. So everyone is singular. Now here we are talking about pronouns. Like subjects and verbs, your pronouns must match. The pronoun must match its antecedent, or the word that it's talking about, in gender and in number. So I wouldn't say Brian is going to the store. She is going to bring back some coffee, because Brian is masculine. So you say Brian is going to the store. He is going to bring back some coffee. I wouldn't say Fred is going to the store and they would bring back coffee, because you automatically know that Fred is how many? One. Fred is going to the store and he will bring back coffee. When you have singular and definite pronouns and you're not sure about the gender of the pronoun, then you would say his and her. You wouldn't say their, because their indicates that it's more than one. You wouldn't say there, because there indicates more than one. You might say both of the boys left their hats on the bus, because both of the boys, both is plural, and we know we said both is plural, and so it will be there. So like subjects and verbs, pronouns must match their antecedent. We only using there if the pronoun or if the antecedent noun, it means more than one. If you don't know the gender and the pronoun is singular, you say his and her. Everything, everyone, everybody, if it ends in one, body, or thing, it is singular, correct? And so a singular subject has a singular verb. Singular verbs end in S. So everything feels. Okay. Of the antique chair legs, that's a prepositional phrase. Go ahead and cross that out. We don't need that. So one is my subject. And is one singular or plural, guys? Singular, that's correct. So a singular subject has a singular verb. Singular verbs end in, say it out loud, S, that's correct. So it would be one falls. And our last one. The members of the jury relieved when the judge dismissed. Where is my prepositional phrase? What should I cross out? If you said of the jury, you're correct. You're correct. I said correct and right together, huh? If you said of the jury, you are correct or right, not correct. But of the jury is my prepositional phrase. So let's cross that out. The members. How many is the members? Remember, if your subject ends in S, your verb will not. So the members mean more than one. So the subject is plural, and therefore the verb will be plural. And the verb here that we're going to select is were. Correct. You guys, on the next screen, we have a quick quiz, if you all would do that. Okay, you guys, next we're going to talk about sentence problems and types of sentences. Okay, sentence problems are errors in writing that you need to avoid. First, let's look at what a run-on sentence is. This is an example of a sentence problem. This is the type of sentence problem that you need to avoid. A run-on sentence is when two or more complete sentences are joined without a connecting word or a punctuation mark to separate them. So when two or more sentences are joined without a word to connect them, or a punctuation mark to separate them. That's what a run-on sentence is. Sentences that just go on and on and on and on and on. Okay? A comma splice will probably have a what in it? Comma. That's correct. Comma splice, comma. A comma splice occurs, and it's an error in writing, and you need to avoid it. A comma splice occurs when two sentences are joined with only a comma. Okay? A comma is too weak to separate two sentences. You will need a connecting word, which is one of those fanboys. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Okay? What is a comma splice? Is when two sentences are joined with only a comma. A comma is too weak to separate two sentences. You will need one fanboys with that comma. And so a comma splice will have a what in it? Only a comma. That's correct. And this should be sentence fragment. I'm sorry about that. What is a sentence fragment? And this is an incomplete sentence. There's you're missing a subject, verb, and or complete thought. A sentence fragment is an incomplete sentence. Something is missing from it. Okay? It's missing a verb, a subject, and or a complete thought. Okay? So let's identify our comma splices, run-ons, and sentence fragments. And you do have 3 correct sentences. The battle of the sexes is an external struggle, comma, both sides win. Note this comma. Remember, comma is too weak to separate 2 complete sentences by itself. And so when you see a comma without a fanboys, you know that that's a what? Comma splice, correct. Let me just put a B here. The attractive house cannot be seen from the road because it has a hidden driveway. You guys, this is a complete sentence. It has been said that green is nature's favorite color. It is also mine. It has been said that green is nature's favorite color. That's a complete sentence. It is also mine. That's another complete sentence with no connecting word or a punctuation mark to join it. And so that is a what? Run-on sentence. You're correct. Cities will soon completely. Sentence fragment. It doesn't complete its thought. I mowed the lawn last week, semicolon. The lawn doesn't need mowing again. Remember, a semicolon can separate 2 complete sentences. In fact, it's one of the ways to correct a comma splice and run-on. So this is correct. Follows me from room to room. This is a sentence fragment. The subject is missing. Who's following you from room to room? My children followed me from room to room during the snow. I couldn't get any peace. I was so ready to come back to work. Okay. Number 7. Edward Merck's The Shrek is an interesting painting. This is a complete sentence. It is also a probing psychological work. This is another complete sentence. 2 complete sentences that are missing a comma or a connecting word is called a run-on. So this is a run-on, people. Full-size grandfather clocks are beautiful. They are also very expensive. So you have two complete sentences that are being separated with only a comma. And you know a comma is too weak to separate two complete sentences. So this type of error is called a comma splice. Okay? Because my sister put a flea and tick collar on the cat will not have fleas this year. This is a complete sentence. The cat would not have fleas this year. This is a sentence fragment. Because my sister put a flea and tick collar on the cat. It's missing something, right? And then you have the complete sentence to complete it. So, a comma can join a sentence fragment and a complete sentence. Sentence fragment, because my sister put a flea and tick collar on the cat. You're waiting, right? Okay. That's a sentence fragment. The cat would not have fleas this year. A comma can join a sentence fragment and a complete sentence. And so this is correct, which is C. And my bad, B is my comma splice. And C is my correct. So let's make sure that I put the letters right. B is a comma, 1 is a comma splice B. 2 is a correct sentence C. 3 is a run-on sentence A. 4 is a sentence fragment, which is D. 5 is correct, which is C. 6 is a sentence fragment, which is D. 7 is a run-on sentence, which is A. 8 is a comma splice, which is B. And 9 is a correct sentence. Okay, so here we're going to identify whether it's a comma splice, a sentence fragment, or a run-on sentence, and then we're going to correct them using one of those three ways. Remember, we said that we correct these we correct comma splices and run-ons by separating them with a semicolon, separating them with a period, and make them two complete sentences, or separating them with a comma and fanboys. Okay? So let's look. Jason left the water running all afternoon. Comma, this caused the basement to leak. Okay, notice the comma without one of the fanboys. So we would say that this is a comma splice. I'm put CS for comma splice. And what three ways can we correct the comma splice? We can correct it by adding a semicolon. We can correct the comma splice by making them two complete sentences. Or we can correct the comma splice by keeping the comma and adding a fanboy, which is and. Okay. Van hadn't seen his son in 4 months. They enjoyed getting together. Two complete sentences that are not joined with any type of punctuation mark or connecting word. So this is what I called a run-on. So I'll put RO for run-on. How do we correct run-ons and comma splices? We correct them by, and let's get the highlights off of this. How do we correct them? We correct them by joining them with a semicolon. We can join them with a comma and a fanboys. Van hadn't seen his son in 4 months, but they enjoyed getting together. Remember, a comma and a fanboys must be added. Or we can just simply make them two complete sentences. Because we had tickets. You guys, this is a sentence fragment. You can correct sentence fragments a variety of ways, and your way may vary from mine, so it can vary. Because we had tickets, we didn't need to stand in line. And we can say, and you need a comma because we had tickets, it's a sentence fragment. Then your comma will join that complete sentence with that sentence fragment. Okay, because is a subordinating conjunction. Because is a subordinating conjunction. When the subordinating conjunction is in the middle of a sentence, no commas are needed. I know a lot of you put a comma with because. That's incorrect. If because is in the middle of a sentence, you don't need a comma. We didn't need to stand in line at the game because we had tickets. Okay. Sarah bought a stylish new jumpsuit, comma, it has diamonds on the front. This is a comma splice. Note that it is joining two sentences with a comma, but no connecting word. And so you need that connecting word to make this comma splice correct. But there are 3 ways that you can do it. And I know you're saying, why are you taking up this time? Because repetitive exposure helps you learn. Sarah bought a stylish new jumpsuit, comma, and it has diamonds on the front and back. Sarah bought a stylish new jumpsuit, semicolon, it has diamonds on the front and back. Sarah bought a stylish new jumpsuit, making those 2 complete sentences. It has diamonds on the front and back. Went to Greensboro College, that's a fragment. The children wanted to watch cartoons. This is a complete sentence. Their mother made them come to the table. This is a complete sentence. 2 complete sentences without any type of punctuation or connecting word is a run-on sentence. And I'm not going to correct these. You just know that we correct comma splices and run-ons by adding a comma and a fanboys, adding a semicolon, or making them 2 complete sentences. You're going to need that for the test, so you definitely need to know that. Okay. 7, there are many popular rock and roll singers in the 50s. This is a complete sentence. Many of their songs sounded alike. This is a complete sentence. 2 complete sentences joined without any type of punctuation mark or connecting word is a run-on. Oscar Wilde is a famous author, comma, his life was controversial. Remember, a comma is too weak to join 2 complete sentences. You will need a connecting word like a fanboy. And so this is a comma splice. And these are errors that you need to avoid in writing. You need to know how to identify a comma splice, and you also need to know how to correct a comma splice. Next, we're going to talk about types of sentences. You guys need to be familiar with different sentence types. First, we have a compound sentence. A compound sentence is when you join 2 complete sentences with a comma and a fanboys. You know how you had compound words in elementary? When you have 2 separate complete words that mean different things, but when you add them together to form a compound word, they mean one word totally separate from those 2 individual words. Living room, 2 complete words, join them together, living room. Boy and friend, join them together, boyfriend. Neighbor and hood, neighborhood. You know, hood is something that you put on your head, and neighbor is, hey, friend, person living next door to you, neighborhood. So, like the compound words, compound sentences join 2 complete sentences with a comma and fanboys, or a comma and coordinating conjunction. You know, your coordinating conjunctions are called fanboys. So, what words What words are fanboys? And you guys need to know this. You're going to see it over and over. You need to know that for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so are all coordinating conjunctions. And the acronym for those are fanboys. I'll put this here so you'll know this. Okay, what is a compound sentence? A compound sentence is two complete sentences joined together with a comma and a coordinating conjunction. And the coordinating conjunctions are my fanboys. Okay, a compound sentence will have a comma. You guys need to make sure you know that. And a coordinating conjunction. This information is just being reiterated. What are coordinating conjunctions? The acronym that stands for coordinating conjunctions is fanboys. And so specifically, what do fanboys stand for? Specifically, fanboys stand for, and it's to help you understand it, for and nor, for and nor, but, or, yet, and so. For and nor, but, or, yet, and so. Remember that. A complex sentence has what we call subordinating conjunctions. Okay? If a sentence has a subordinating conjunction in it, then it's a complex sentence. Some of the most regularly used subordinating conjunctions are if, although, before, when, because, even though. Okay, these are some of the most common subordinating conjunctions. Okay, if, although, before, when, because, even though. If you see these in a sentence, you know that sentence is a complex sentence. So let's identify these sentences. Wipe your mouth before you touch the tablecloth. Before is a subordinating conjunction, so you automatically know that this is a complex sentence. I wish you could go with me. This is a complete sentence. I wish you could go with me. I understand your obligations. This is another complete sentence. When you have two complete sentences joined with a comma and a fanboys, but is one of those coordinating conjunctions, then this is a compound sentence. Although is a subordinating conjunction. Although Brian needs a dentist, he refused to make an appointment. Now he has a terrible toothache. So although is a what? Subordinating conjunction. If a sentence has a subordinating conjunction in it, it is automatically a what type of sentence? Complex. That's correct. Gillian can't make the performance. Complete sentence. Gillian can't make the performance. I don't want to go. Another complete sentence. When you have a comma and one of those coordinating conjunctions joining two complete sentences, it is a compound sentence. Okay? A simple sentence, people, is just a complete sentence. Okay? I received 2 plants, a new outfit, and a dozen golf balls for my birthday. So here you have your fanboys and your comma, right? But let's look on both sides of these and see if these are complete sentences. I received 2 plants, a new outfit. Is that a complete sentence? I received 2 plants, a new outfit. No. A dozen golf balls for my birthday. Is that a complete sentence? No. So we have a comma and a coordinating conjunction, but it is not separating 2 complete sentences. Coordinating conjunctions are used to separate 2 complete sentences, words, and word phrases. So this is just simply a simple sentence. A simple sentence is just a complete sentence. Okay? So just like I would say, I am going to the store to buy milk, eggs, and butter. Here, and comma is used to separate the three words. Anytime you have three words or phrases in a series, anytime you have two or more words and phrases in a series, you use a comma and a coordinated conjunction to separate them. That is a simple sentence. Remember, a compound sentence separates two complete sentences. I received 2 plants, a new outfit, and a dozen golf balls for my birthday. Simple sentence. Here, that comma and is used to separate 2 or more phrases in a series. Okay? You guys need to take the opportunity to review your grammar quiz one more time and the answer key that I provided. Hopefully with this video, you all understand it better. You also have a midterm exam quiz to do, and it will have grammar concepts on there as well. The answer key to your practice exercises. Your subject is your friends. Friends is plural, and so your verb must be plural. So talk is the correct verb. Remember, if your subject has an S, the verb will not. If your subject is singular and does not have an S, the verb will. Singular verbs have S. Your verbs or your subject must match your verbs. If your subject is singular, your verb must be singular. If your subject is plural, your verb must be plural. The man is the subject. Looks is the verb. Man is singular. Looks with an S is singular. Note that I have the prepositional phrases crossed out. With is a preposition. With the roses is the phrase, is the prepositional phrase. I'm going to go a little faster. Everyone is singular. Remember, indefinite singular pronouns will end in one thing in body. If it ends in one thing in body, it is singular. So the verb swims is singular. Each, either, neither, and another are also singular. And note, prepositional phrases are crossed out. Subjects and verbs will never be in the prepositional phrase. So each is singular. Verb must be singular. Singular verbs end in S. Drives. Each drives. Everyone, singular. So the verb must be singular. Everyone runs with an S. But also, any type of pronouns must also be matched the antecedent. And the antecedent, we're talking about everyone runs 5 miles every day for his or her. Remember, there is plural. Everyone is singular, so you need to use his or her if you don't know the gender. That redhead lady is singular. Lives, I'm sorry I don't have it highlighted, but lives is the singular verb with an S. The men, how many is men? Is men more than one? Yes, it is. Man is one. Men is more than one. So we're talking about more than one. So it's plural. Men cook. And so if men is more than one, then their pronoun will also be more than one. And it will be there. The boys is plural. So the pronoun will be, so the verb will be plural. And that's walk. The weather is singular. So the verb will be singular. Singular verbs have an S. The center is singular, so the verb will be singular. Singular verbs have an S.